Hello, Warriors. Today in 3DMA, we are going to apply not only the different selection tools that we used in the previous tutorial lessons, but also we are going to apply our color theory that we learned a couple weeks ago. Now, this is a graded assignment that is weighted. So first, I'm going to start out by navigating to today's assignment in week 5. We will have 2 days to do this, but if you follow this video, you should not need 2 days. And then the rest of the second day, you will get to sketch. Now I'm going to click the instructions. These instructions lead you to the place where you will, in the end, go ahead and turn in the files, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Now, we're going to start with downloading this file. You're going to click that. This is the Mickey Mouse file we're going to use. You're going to come over here and you're going to click the download button. When it is downloaded, you may close that file. You will now open up your File Explorer, which is down here, the manila folder. Go to your Downloads folder. This is where Mickey is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go to Photoshop, and I'm going to open that file from Downloads. File, Open, or if you are in Home, you can click Open here. I'm going to navigate to Downloads, and I'm going to get the Start Mickey file and click Open. The first thing that we do with any file it's not showing me the file, so let me see. There we go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is do File, Save As. So we can save this file in our desktop, Photoshop. I want you to create a folder. Here's your new folder. I'll do it for an example. I'm going to call it Mickey. I'm going to call this one Mickey Mouse just to make it different from the others. I'm going to go inside that folder. Down here, file name, I'm going to use my last name underscore Mickey. You use your last name underscore Mickey. Now, if you really don't like using the underscore, just capitalize each word, and that'll help differentiate it enough that you can read it more easily. Save as type. We want to save it as a Photoshop file and click Save. This changes it up here, and this will give us full access to the different Photoshop utensils that we can use. Now, in the instructions, which is what you click this button here, this is going to take you to the first part, which is going to be going into the Adobe. Now, I'm already logged into this. If you are not logged in, I need you to tell me so I can assist you. When yours opens up, you're probably going to have 3 rectangles. The one on the left is, I think, View Color Wheel. Now, the choices you have for this assignment, you may choose analogous. Remember, analogous are the colors that are adjacent to each other on the window, on the color wheel. A for adjacent, A for analogous. You can change what colors you want by dragging them around or making them longer, whatever you want to do. You can choose analogous. You may choose triad. This makes it the triangle. You may choose complementary, which is across from each other. And again, you can change it to choose the different color choices. You can also choose split complementary. So either analogous, triad, complementary, or split complementary. I'm going to choose split complementary, and I'm just going to change it up from what I have used in previous classes. Now, in your instructions under step number 4, it talks about making a screen snip of that window. Here is the shortcut key if you want to use it. Windows button on your keyboard. It has the Windows logo, Shift, and then S. So I'm going to do Windows Shift S. You can choose full screen snip, or if you're dragging, this is what I want you to drag. When that opens up, you're going to get a picture over here. You should. Mine did not give me that, so let me do my snip again, Windows Shift, yeah, Windows Shift S. Okay, I've been having problems with my snipping tool recently, so I'm going to do it this way. I can go down here. You might not have yours. Type snip, get snip and sketch. Now I have two open, but I'm going to click new, and then it should give me the opportunity to do this. I've only started having that weird thing the last couple of days. I've never had that in years, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Now, this icon will allow me to save it. I'm going to save, and I want to navigate to my desktop, Photoshop, Mickey Mouse folder, or Mickey, or you can call it Mickey and your class period. Whatever you do is fine. I just had several examples, so I was changing it up during each live demo. Now I'm going to come down to the file name, and I'm going to call it Gross Color. You can call it your last name, Color Wheel. I don't care, but we want to differentiate this from the Mickey file. It should be going in the Mickey Mouse folder. I'm going to click Save. Then I'm going to close this. I don't need this anymore. I'm now ready to go to Photoshop and now open my color wheel file here. Now, if it makes it easier, you can drag it across. You can resize this. Really, on the color wheel, all you really need to do is scroll down so you see these colors here so you can easily select them, okay? So I'm going to just click this and drag this down here. Now, you have to remember when you've got the color wheels colors selected, you're not on Mickey Mouse. You have to click on Mickey Mouse to make that Mickey Mouse window active. Color wheel active, Mickey Mouse active. Okay. In the Mickey Mouse file, we do not want to color the background color, period. Don't touch. We're going to create 4 layers. Now, in previous classes, I told them they had to use at least 4 of these colors. If they wanted to use all 6, then add 6 layers. Then I want you to rename the layers. I'm going to double click layer 1 and I'm going to call it red. I'm going to double click layer 2. I'm going to call that purpley thing plum. Then I have 3 shades of green. So I'm going to call, I'm going to use these 2 over here to the left. So I'm going to do one neon green and the other just green. Now, if you're using all 6, then I would have 2 more greens to worry about. Now, again, I'm not as worried about what you name the layers. Sometimes you want to name the layer based on what graphical content is going on that layer. But in here, I want to make sure I use it by color. But the name isn't as important as your understanding how to rename a layer, because I am grading that. Now, for practice using the select tools. If you remember from one of the previous files, you had problems finding the magic wand. If you mouse over any of these buttons, it will tell you what these buttons are. Well, this button is a selection tool, so maybe the other selection tools are underneath it. Now I'm going to start with Magic Wand. By default, Sample All Layers is not selected. It is on mine because I had it selected previously. Yours may or may not be. Now I'm going to click on the green layer. If I don't have Sample All Layers selected, the entire graphic is going to select, because if I make these invisible, there's nothing on the green layer to actually select. So this just drives the point home about sampling all layers. Now I'm going to deselect. I've already closed that toolbar, so I'm going to do select, deselect. Here is a shortcut key you can learn, but this shortcut key is Photoshop specific. In most of your other programs, it's going to be duplicate. So this is why I've really not pointed this out to you yet. Now, I have the magic wand. I have sample all layers. This works great if I'm getting a solid color. Now, right now, by default, the original select is new selection is chosen. If I click something else, the previous selection is deselected. If you want to add or append to your selection, this second button. Now, for those of you who like keyboards, deselect. You can click on one layer. You can hold the shift. The click, shift, click adds to your selection. If you remember, in file selection, it would select one file, and then when you shift click, every file in between was selected. So shift click works similarly in that it does that. If I hold the Alt, it turns into a minus and I could deselect. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to do shift click this one and shift click this one. I'm on the green layer. Now, how do I get the green color? I'm going to click my color palette, which is going to bring up in this dialog box. I'm now going to color or use the eyedropper tool to pick up that color. Do you see that I have that? I click OK. That color shows over here. You have to be sure to click back on Mickey. Otherwise, you're not on the right layer. Now, you can use the paintbrush and click and drag. And the beautiful thing is, I will not color outside the lines because of the selection, excuse me. Or you can use the paint bucket, which by default is hiding underneath the gradient tool. And this is what I love about the paint bucket. It does both selections at the same time. So if you're following my shortcuts, you could finish this assignment pretty quickly. I'm now going to go to the neon green. I'm going to go get my color by coming down here and clicking that. I'm going to click close. There's my neon color. Now I want to show you the difference. I'm going to deselect because I don't want to do the sky. I want to show you the difference of Magic Wand on that solid sky versus down here on the floor. When I try to come and select, do you see how it doesn't allow me to get everything? That's because the Magic Wand tool is selecting color pixels and it's more difficult to do so. So this might be better for the Quick Select tool. The Quick Select tool also has the just Quick Select, Add to, and Remove from. So I'm going to deselect. I'm going to click and drag a little bit. I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to click. I just want the floor, under the foot, over here, in here. Right now, don't worry about the tail, but I'm going to show you what you could do. You could get the minus, but do you see how my brush is too big? I'm going to go down and make it smaller. So I've got the minus, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to deselect the tail. Again, you don't really need to do this because the last step that we do is going to put the tail back, but I want to make sure you know how to do that if you in fact get too much. Now, I've got the color, I've got my selection. I'm going to go get the paint bucket and I'm going to click. Now, do you see how I can't see my floor detail and I can't see all of my tail because I didn't get all of it? After you have colored 100% of all of this, you're going to come down to the background layer. You may right click and choose duplicate layer, duplicate. You can go to layer, duplicate layer, or I like this. I'm going to drag it down to this plus and duplicate it. Then I'm going to drag it to be my top layer. Okay. Right now it covers everything up. I need to tell this not to be a normal layer, but I want it to multiply down. So now I can see the details and the colors through that. Now, all the way through, I want to make sure I'm doing Control S or File Save. See, there's that shortcut key. That is always going to be saving to your PSD file. Let's pretend this whole thing is perfectly colored and I'm done. I'm going to first do Control S or otherwise save. I don't need to because I just did it. But then we're going to do File, Save a Copy. Now, if you forget to do save a copy, I'm going to forget right now to make a point. You do have a button right here in the Save As dialog box that will then give you access. Now, this is going to be Gross Mickey JPEG. Now, instead of the word copy, I'm going to just change that word to done or finished or whatever. Notice I do not have any spaces in there. Do not ever type after the period because this right here puts the different extension on there. Always let the computer put the extension on there. That is called file association, and that's what tells the computer what programs can open it up. All right, I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to click OK on the default. Now, you're going to, before you turn this in, um, I want you to, I'm going to close this file here. I want you to take a full screen snip that includes layers that, because I am grading whether or not you rename the layers. If you have more layers than I have and you actually need to scroll, what I suggest is you come up here and click and drag the layer tab so you can then elongate the panel so you can see all the layers. Then I'm going to do my snipping tool because I already know I have a problem with mine. I'm going to click snip or new. I'm just going to choose full screen snip. Boom. I'm going to, oh, but you see how mine does that? So now mine does both screens. I don't need my second screen. Interesting. I forgot that it did that. So that's going to be what I need. I'm going to crop it and then I'm going to do enter. Now I'm going to click save. And I'm going to call this one gross PS snip. If you want to put that underscore because you have a lot of capitalized letters together, go for it. Save. Now, I can close that. I'm done with Photoshop. So I'm going to close Photoshop. Now, I am going to go to Google Drive. Remember, when you click a new tab, you can come over here to Drive. Now I am going to go to my my drive. I'm going to navigate to my Memorial High School and I have a B3 3DMA. I'm going to use that for this example and I have MP1. Now, because you have inside your desktop Photoshop Mickey folder, or in my case, mine was Mickey Mouse Color Theory. Now, and I have the JPEG. I don't have the color in here. Did I save it in the wrong one? Y'all, I did not save my color wheel. That's a problem. So I would need to make sure I did that. So I have it. Make sure you save your color wheel. I may have saved over that because I was having the problems with that. But you should have 3 files in here. You're going to have your start Mickey JPEG. You're going to have your Photoshop, and then you're going to have your color wheel file. Now, you can go to Photoshop and take that whole Mickey folder and drop it. Then you're going to get the link. You're going to click the dot, share, copy link. Now, this is where I can't actually show you what it looks like. Yes, I can. View as a student. I'm going to go to view as a student. Then I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to choose website URL, and then I'm going to either right click paste or the shortcut is Control V. And then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to submit. And then when I grade it, I will see all the examples of the files that I'm needing to do. This tells you, now this is an old naming convention. You don't have to do this naming. I said last name, color wheel, last name, Mickey, PSD, last name, Mickey JPEG. So you should have 3 files in there as well as the screenshot. So I'm going to update this to say, oh, actually, yeah. I'm going to update this to include the screenshot of your window as well. So you should have 4 files that you're turning in. So ask questions as you have them, and thank you for listening.